What's up, everybody? It's April Dawn. I'm here to do my The Sinner. This is USA's The Sinner Part 3 review. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So, on this episode, it was a little just as good as it was strange, because it's a strange show, okay? But they are giving us some information, so, we are learning things, and it's moving along, which I like about the show, whatever. I really love the performances, because it really makes you think about what these people are thinking and what is their motivation, why they are doing these different things. So, let's get started. Cora dreams of her baby walking around in the house by herself, her little boy, and she wakes up. She's still on that hard metal. Okay, remember they took away her mattress and everything. Okay, so I separated in two stories. So I'm gonna go with Harry and the investigation, and then I'll go with Cora and the flashbacks. Okay, so at the beginning, Harry is hiking up to a cliff with his wife. It looks like they're getting along nicely. He goes and he's at work now. He talks to his partner and finds out that Cora has passed the psychiatric evaluation. So she's lucid. She knows what she was doing, XYZ, all those things. So he sits down and he shoots the psychiatrist a theory about what he thinks about Cora. When she jumped up, when she stabbed him in the 7 places or punched him in the 7 places, attacked him, that whole... He runs that to the psychiatrist. She says it sounds like PTSD. Sounds like, she's reliving a traumatic event, and when she's stabbing you, she's actually stabbing someone else. She says the memories replay like a vision or, something like that. Harry goes later to visit Cora's parents. So, Cora's parents are, like we said, they're still alive. They're 30 minutes away. I made a mistake in the other review. They're not an hour away. They're 30 minutes away, okay? And her mother is sick now. So when she gets there, the dad says they've been estranged for years. They have not talked. They said Cora ran away when she was 23 years old on the weekend of the 4th of July. Her mom says her sister was knocking on death's door, and she was, she was just selfish, thinking about herself, and she ran away. So, Harry does know that that her running away at 23 is strange as hell. Like, how you don't say I'm running away from home at 23 years old. You'll just say I'm leaving home to go live my grown-ass adult life like I'm an adult. Okay, so that's crazy right there, okay? Mom says that when Cora left the house, she died. Dead to her. And the dad is looking at him. Harry is looking like he understands that the mom is overbearing. It's a very religious household, and the dad is not necessarily... he lets his wife kind of run the show for the most part, kind of backs off and lets her have her way for the most part. I want to say that, for the most part, okay? They says their sister died about a month after she left the house, okay? And that was pretty much it for that one. So Harry goes to see Cora in the medic unit, and he apologizes to her for being off base, or the last time they spoke, him provoking her. He wants her to show him his track marks, okay? So apparently, in between this time, sometime, I don't know if I missed that part, but, he was informed that whenever they brought her to the hospital, in the jail, which we'll talk about later, that she had track marks, or they found track marks on her arms. So he asked her to show him the track marks, and he asked, what was it? She says heroin. And when did it start? 5 years ago. She says she was in Dorchester and she was in Kingston. He says, well, who were you with? And she says, I can barely remember who I was with. I used to sleep with guys for fixes. So it really doesn't matter. She asked him please not tell her family, about her drug use, because she told Mason that she had an infection or something like that when she was younger, and that's why she has those marks on her arm. So they don't know. She doesn't want them to tell the son. She doesn't want this to affect her, in her life. He tells her, I can't promise that to you, this is my job. Later on, when he's in the office, he does talk to high school officer friend about Mason, and, asks if Mason got her into the drugs, and the girl says, no, he was kind of he was kind of a dick in high school, but, he was never a drug addict. He didn't get her into the drug life. He goes to visit her aunt. You remember the aunt that we saw the last episode, or the second episode when she gave her the chocolate bar? That aunt. So he goes to visit the aunt, and because she visited Cora, they let him know. So she said she tried to be close to Cora, but the mother would not let her be close to Cora. She said it was easier when Cora lived with her when she came back. When she came back from being gone. So after she ran away, she came back like 2 months later. But her mother would not let her stay with her because she saw the track marks on her arm. She called her a hoe. She called her, everything under the everything but a child of God, like my mom used to say, and wouldn't take her in. So her aunt took her in. Yeah, so she wouldn't take her in. So the aunt says that she wasn't much better because she saw signs, but she did not do anything about it. So it flashes back to, Cora's looking at her outfit. She looked like she's about to go on a date, possibly with Mason. Oh no, that's not possibly with Mason because she met him later. So, she's got a dress out. She going somewhere. She putting on clothes and her aunt says, we should do something with your hair. She starts fiddling with her hair and she sees a scar in her head. And he asked, did you ask about it? And she said, no, I never asked. We never asked. So, she saw that something was wrong. Something had happened, but she never asked her about it. She knew that something, was wrong. Okay? So she said she had nightmares too. I forgot about that. Nightmares right before 3 o'clock in the morning. And all of those things, but she never asked. So Harry, later on, he goes to visit the rehab that she was in. And he says that the guys at rehab said that, she was there for 2 weeks. She cleaned up really quickly. And he says she's not like the other patients who have come here because they're a state-run facility and they only deal with, like, homeless people. Mostly deal with low-income people and homeless people. But when she came, she was brought there. She was dropped off by a girl named Caitlin Walker. Okay, she had on new sweats. Her hair was washed and she was clean. Okay, so note those 3 things. Caitlin Walker, hair washed, clean sweats when she was dropped off at the rehab. Mason goes to a bar with friend and he has him point out JD. He doesn't do anything at this time. So Harry calls the judge and leaves a message that he wants to talk to the judge. He's with his partner in the grocery store and they're getting lunch. So when he turns around, he sees Dominatrix. Okay, he sees 50 Shades of Grey. So 50 Shades of Grey looking at him like, I need you to come, suck my baby toe. You know what I'm saying? Whatever they be doing, child. So, he told his friend an excuse. He went over to the lady and she dropped like some produce on the ground. I don't know if it was onions, oranges. I don't know what it was. But she dropped some on the ground and he started picking it up. And as soon as he started picking it up, she walked away. I think that was just like a move to show like I still have power over you. Like, it don't matter what you tell me. You getting back together with your wife. It don't matter. It don't matter. Because I still have the power over you. So I think that's all that was a show of power for homegirl for 50 Shades of Grey. Okay, he was just up there looking stupid. It's a mess. He meets the judge and he gives the judge the theory about Cora. He thinks that this crime is mirroring something or a crime. She has been a victim of a crime in the past. So he is asking for extra time or asking her to move the hearing. The judge says, well, since there's nothing admissible, there's nothing that we can use, so I'm going to let the hearing go on as is normally scheduled. Not to mention the prosecutor dude was a butthole because he was like, she's a drug addict. Drug addicts lie. Like, don't try it, okay? Harry and his wife are having dinner with another couple. So the case comes up, they start discussing it, and the guy, he says, well, wasn't she a drug addict? Or the wife says she was a drug addict, and he says, oh, okay, well, those drug addicts and these people is, they don't have any education and da-da-da-da-da, which is totally not the truth. And you can see Harry getting more and more irritated as this man is talking. We all know that drugs do not have anything to do with class, people, as we see right now with the opioid crisis that's been happening since the 80s. Nobody ain't care about the opioid crisis in the 80s, but I digress. So excuse me, the richest of the richest and the poorest of the poorest have used heroin. No one is exempt from heroin use. And once it gets in your family, once it gets into that person, it's very difficult to overcome. So everything he was saying was basically ignorance. And it was interesting to me, that character, because if you're paying attention, right before that, he's talking about how they were doing something, helping refugees. And she's like, oh, that work is important. It's like you see so much for somebody from another country, but your own people that are suffering, that are going through something, we so quick to judge and put down and, disparage. People get on drugs for different reasons. Okay, so let's think about that. People get on drugs for different reasons. Most of the time it's because they're trying to medicate themselves from feeling whatever way they felt. Yes, they made the decision to get on it, and yes, I'm not absolving them of responsibility, but at the same time, we have to know that it's a chemical thing. Now, once you get on it, your body has to have it, and it turns you into a different person. It turns you into somebody totally different. So, dude was just being a butthole, and, Harry got him together. He was like, you don't know her, okay? You don't know Cora. Cora, you don't know her, okay? So don't be judging Cora because you don't know what she been through. You don't know how she feel, and you don't know her, so don't do it, okay? So he got him on together. His wife told him to go and get some water. Carrie, you just need to go get some wine, okay, and calm down, baby. Later on that night, she apologizes. His wife apologized for bringing it up. She said, I didn't know how you felt. I like that. I like the fact that she apologized to him because, like, it wasn't, like, no big issue, no big deal. You know, she was just like, I'm sorry. It made you uncomfortable. Like, you can see that she was embarrassed, but later on, normally on a TV show, we would see her scold him. Like, you know, you should have did that. You shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. But I'm glad that she apologized. He said it wasn't nothing. So they, you know, they have a little sex. She was like, if you're tired, you know, we don't have to so and he was like, no, it's okay. You know, we can do it. And girl, they started doing it, and it was just dry. I mean, I almost, when they was doing it, said, damn, I see why he be at 50 Shades of Grey house. But then I'm thinking, like, at 50 Shades of Grey house, y'all ain't even doing it. Y'all just, you know, you just getting bust upside your head. Like, I don't understand. You listen. If you a dominatrix person and you like to get beat up when you having sex, or you like to beat other people up when you having sex, hey, that's your business. I don't really care. But you shouldn't be doing that when you're married to someone else. You should do that with your wife. Okay, have her beat you with a paddle when y'all doing it. I don't understand. But it was a little boring but sexy. But she looked so happy. And you know, he looked like he was happy that he made her happy. We just gonna put it like that. At the hearing. So now we're at the hearing. At the hearing, she has been found fit. You know, they say that, you know, how they give you the whole rundown. Do you understand what you plead? You're about to plead guilty. You're going to get sentenced in 2 weeks if you get plead guilty. She says she don't really know what to do. At this point, she's waffling back and forth. She doesn't know what to do. So she decides to plead guilty in the end. After she turns around and sees Mason, and then over Mason, she sees her mom and her dad in the back. So I thought that it was interesting that overrode, you know, her love for Mason and her child. As soon as she saw her parents, she turned around and was like guilty. So I don't know. That has something to do with something. Okay, so we'll find out later. Harry is with 50 Shades of Grey. Back with 50 Shades of Grey again. She was choking him. He was bent over. I don't know if she was doing it to him in his butt. I don't know if she was choking him. I don't know what was going on. Somebody tell me what was happening, because I really couldn't see. But it sounded like he couldn't breathe. And she was asking him, did he tell his wife? Did he tell his wife? And he said no. And she was like, I don't believe you. So she goes to sit on the couch, and he goes over, y'all, and he is laying his head on her lap like a baby and saying, oh, you got me, you got me, you got me. And she like, I got you. Y'all, if you went to the 50 Shades of Grey, just explain to me what's happening right there, okay? Because he looked like a dog in her lap. Like, that's how he looked, with his head in her damn lap, like a damn dog or a little bitty ass kid. And I don't know. Okay, I don't know. I have confusion. You know, I can admit when my mind is closed to certain things. And so I need somebody to further explain to me what the hell is going on over there, okay? I ain't gonna judge you. I just want to know, okay? I have questions. Now we're back on the case. Harry is talking to an old man that he's the man who found Cora. So he just explains that, you know, he came back here to dump out the trash. And, you know, she was out here looking like lost, left out, least, last. Okay, and forgotten, laying out here, you know, on the street. But it looked like she had a business outfit on, like she was finna go to work, because she was like professional casual. Like, so she didn't look like your typical drug addict when they showed it to us, okay? So that's where she was found, in Poughkeepsie. Okay, let's make sure we remember that, in Poughkeepsie. So we're back with Mason. Oh, sorry, Harry was walking around in the area. He notices the junkies, you know, passed out, and he sees, you know, their feet, how they have stuck. You know, how they shoot up in their foot, and they shoot up in, like, their hands, or, you know, places where you can't see. So he noticed that. Mason gets in his truck. He drives down to the bar. He sees JD at the bar again. So this time he goes to confront JD. He basically asks, how you know Cora, what the deal is. JD like, what she told you? And he like, you know what I'm saying, like, stop BSing. What is, you know, how do you know her? And he's like, he don't know nothing. She didn't tell him nothing. He don't know shit. And he said, well, what she did to me? Because he's like, what did you do to her? And he's like, what I did to her? And you don't know nothing. And then Mason tell him, get up, nigga. Pull up. Okay? Meet me outside. Catch me outside. How about that? Okay, so JD stand up like he gonna do something. We gonna handle this like gentlemen. But he under the seat, he has a hammer. So when he stand up, it's like he was going to hit Mason. But guess what? We thought Mason was a little soft, but Mason commenced to beat that ass, okay? Mason was like, not today. I ain't got time. My wife just pleaded guilty, man. I don't have time for this. I'm going to beat your ass because I've been waiting. So he grabbed JD. He swing that boy all the way around, jump on top of him, start beating him up. And JD like, oh, she still like 3 dudes at one time. Me, Danny, and such and such. Some names he was calling child. And he was laughing because he knew he was finna get his ass beat. They got arrested, and you know, homegirl was the one that arrested him. High school homegirl, she arrested him. You know, both of them got arrested. So I think that this is going, you know, we'll find out more about JD the next episode now that we have him in custody. Okay, we're gonna find out all about him next episode. That's it for that storyline. So let's go on and go back to fill in some of these gaps. Okay. So at the beginning of the episode, going back, Cora is questioned by the psychologist, you know, asking her, has she been on medication, you know, everything, all those questions they ask you. So she does tell one psychologist, the lady, that she has imagined herself as a kid at 13 or 14 years old. And she says, well, what would you say to yourself? She said, I would tell her to run. And when she says that, we see Cora's 14-year-old self walking in front of a house, looking at the house, and you can hear the screaming, the yelling that's going on inside of the house, okay? So Cora calls home. Mason answers the phone. She wants Mason to bring her son Bree. I think his name is Bree. Y'all correct me, Bryn or something like that. She wants him to bring the baby to come visit her. He says, okay, you know, I'll bring the baby. Now, after Harry goes to visit Cora's parents, we see a clock. And we see a man walking in the background. The clock says 2:49. I don't know if it was 3:49 or 2:49. I'm gonna have to go back and look again. But it was that's what time it was on the clock. And we see a vague man walking in the background. I'm not sure if that was still at the parents' house, if that was somewhere else. I have no idea. Then we see the pattern. We dive deep into the pattern this time. We see all the little things moving and swirling around, you know, in that particular pattern. And then we see driving. It's at night. There's trees, right? Like you looking out the window, basically driving. We see a bell ring. Somebody hitting the bell, making a ring. We see that girl from the beach, whatever her name was. She's whispering, and I think it was a black person. I can't tell. Was it a black person, y'all? Was it a black man or woman? I couldn't tell. But she was whispering to somebody who had some melanin in their skin. Okay, so she was whispering in their ear. Give her another hit, it will loosen her up. And then we see somebody's foot. Once again, I couldn't tell if the foot was a black foot or a white foot. And it ain't look like no man foot. It looked like a woman foot. But it stepped on her chest. It could have been a man foot, though. I don't have no idea. So it stepped on her chest and pressed in. And it kind of cracked. And she woke up screaming, having, you know, an attack. And they took her out of the cell. And they took her on to med. Now, this is, like I said, when he found out she had the track marks on her arms, okay? So after she's given a sedative, I forgot about that. So after, you know, Harry talks to her in the jail, we have a flashback to Cora in the room, hearing her mom in her bedroom, hearing her mom and dad fight about her sister being in the bed with her mom. Apparently her sister is in the bed with her mom all the time. The mom is like, I gotta be with her 24/7. The dad like, I want my wife. This shit ain't natural to have her sleeping up in here every night, and I'm sleeping. He was sleeping in the other bed with her. So I don't think she was molested. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty positive that she was not molested. He was just sleeping in the other bed, and the daughter was sleeping in the bed with the mama. And so the sister had lymphoma. We found that out. So she had cancer, lymphoma. This is why she was so sick all the time, okay? He like, I want my wife. And so he grabs the daughter. He grabs the sister and brings the sister into the bedroom, you know, with Cora, her bedroom. Okay? Mason comes to visit. He does not bring Bryn, the son. He says that the detective came over and asked him about her drug habit, and he was like, you a damn lie. I'm tired of you lying to me. You lied to me about everything. She asked him about what he says, did JD, you know, put you on drugs or whatever, and she's like, she didn't say nothing, you know. So he like, you know, I'm sick of this shit. I'm done. You know, you're not even trying to be a mother. Have you thought about your child and what he's going to think about you when he get older? How you just play guilty? You didn't even try to be his mother. Like, you know, the stuff you have done. All of these things. So he's really upset. He gets up and he leaves. So now we're in a flashback. The sister is talking about the dad's penis. Well, she said, you think mom and dad are screwing because I'm not sleeping in their bed no more. So we found out the sister is a little spunky. She might be sick. She might have lymphoma. Okay? But she's still, you know, a little exploratory. You know, she's still cool. And when I first thought, I was like, oh, God, this is really strange. But when I thought about it, I mean, if you're 12, 13, 14 years old, you know what I'm saying? You start thinking about stuff like that. Now, what she was talking about is weird because it's your dad, and that's super gross. But at the same time, they haven't been anywhere. They're very, very sheltered. So that's the only man they probably really see like that is their dad. So, you know, it's gross, but you know what I'm saying? It's not necessarily unnatural because that's all they around. You know what I'm saying? Is their father. So I don't think when she was talking about him, she was speaking about him like in a sexual way, like she liked it. She was just asking like, what do a penis look like? Okay, so let me get into the story. So basically she said, you think mom and dad screwing? Since I'm not staying in the room. And Trisha was like, you know, Cora, like, girl, you know what I'm saying? That's sinful to talk about this. The girl said, God don't mind if you sick. I said, I can't. She like, you know, I saw daddy naked once, but I've never seen his penis. Do you think it's big? And that's when Cora was like, we ain't supposed to be talking like that. And she like, God don't mind if you sick or whatever. She pulls out a magazine. She found a magazine in the office at the hospital. And, you know, she asked Cora to read it for her. She said, there's even a part in here about anal foreplay. What the hell you know about anal foreplay? What the hell do you know about anal foreplay, child? Little girl? Okay. I was like, okay. Y'all know a little bit too much. How do you know all of this? How? So, she asked Cora to read the magazine to her. And so, I mean, we're assuming that Cora reads it to her, right? Cora is meeting with her lawyer, and the lawyer says that they can get a good deal. Since she pled guilty, she can get 30 years, okay? Cora asks about changing her plea to not guilty, and the lawyer says, well, I mean, you can change your plea, but, you know, it's going to be very difficult for, basically telling her, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to win this case. It's going to be draining for your family. They're going to go through the press. They're going to, you know, they're going to get, you know, ridiculed by the press. They're going to dig up your past. They're going to do all of these things. And to get it off for temporary insanity is very rare. So Cora takes this into consideration. We're back in the flashback. Mom has found the magazine. Mom is pissed. She comes in. What is this? Okay, sister says, hey, you know, we found it on the sidewalk. We didn't know what it was. And Cora immediately takes all the blame for it. She says, hey, you know, I found the magazine. It's a sex magazine. And I was reading it to Cora about vaginas and whatever. So her mom pours some rice now and makes her kneel on rice. Her mom puts out some rice on the ground and she makes Cora kneel on top of the rice for punishment. If y'all old school was born in the 80s, you know that this was a punishment that people did. Okay, I want to say some people did it at school, that you had to kneel on rice when you was doing something you didn't have no business. So after they done, her and the mom pray, you know, they kneel on rice and they pray to the Jesus statue that's in their house. And so after they're done, Cora is in, you know, with her sister, and her sister starts telling her, you know, God don't listen. Or she says, why did you take the blame? And Cora says, well, I knew that, you know, Dad would get mad. He would punish you. He would make you more sick. And she said, God don't listen anyway, because she was in the hospital and somebody prayed for this girl all night long, and the girl died anyway. And she said, and the sister says, I prayed for you to get sick so you would know how it felt, you know, to be sick like me. And Cora says, well, one time I prayed, or I ate a whole chocolate bar because I thought you were going to die. And so they both have a little chuckle, you know, about it. They think the parents are asleep. They go downstairs. They take down the Jesus statue. And they sit in front of the Jesus statue and they take communion. They they eat crackers and they drink wine in front of the statue. And then they lay down next to it and say, I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. It was almost like a Jesus is my boyfriend, you know, type of moment. It was weird. But like I said, these are very sheltered girls. They don't, you know, date. They don't talk to boys. People don't call their house. They don't hang out with their friends. They don't do those type of things. So, you know, to say I love you, Jesus. I mean, we do say we want to be in love with Jesus or whatever. So it was weird, though. Okay, like, I just want to stress that it was kind of weird, because you just said that God don't listen to you, but then you laying down hugging Jesus. I really think it was like a boyfriend-girlfriend thing, like one hand on boy, because they was like rubbing Jesus' chest, and they both had their hand on his stomach. It was really, really, really sexual / religious / freaking weird as hell, okay? So I wasn't into that at all. They like, I love you, Jesus. I love you, Jesus. You have to say I love you. It was weird. So back at jail, Cora meets with Harry. He asks her how to show him how to shoot up. So she protests a little while, but basically in the end, she cannot show him how to shoot up. Because I started thinking about it, like, I know you put the thing on your arm, because they do that at the hospital to take your blood. But they don't just stick it right in there. You got to, like, warm it up some type of way, child. But I don't know how they do it. So I wouldn't know how to show you either. She's not a drug addict. Because he was like, you know, I know that drug addicts back to the feet, you know, shoot up between their toes. They'll shoot up anywhere that cannot be seen, you know, before they start shooting up in their arm. So why is your arm so messed up after 2 months, you know? And so she can't show him how to shoot up. So he says, you know, you left on the 4th of July. You showed up randomly in Poughkeepsie 2 months later. He says, do you know what you was doing during those 2 months? Can you remember? And she's like, I can't really remember anything but fragments. So he tells her that she spent years blaming herself and kind of blocked out what happened because her mom told her she was a whore. You know, basically said, like, it's your fault. You went out here, you got on drugs, and you was out here hoeing, and she's just taking all the blame and the shame, okay, for it, and has never really sat down and explored, or she knows there's something more to that story, but just chooses to live in shame because of the way that she was raised, okay? She says, well, I don't know. She says, well, what happened to me? He said, I don't know. Somebody did something to you, and I'm guessing it's going to be his mission to find out who did it, okay? So this time, we're back with her in the cell, and she's closing her eyes, and she sees the pattern. And this time, she decides to go forward into the vision. Okay, so I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to see where it takes me. So she closed her eyes. We see the pattern again. We finally got an answer. So the pattern is wallpaper, guys. The pattern opens up, and you can see the wall, and you can see that she's in some sort of room. And the camera pans over to a person at the door. He's standing in scrubs, and he has a hood on his head and, like, a mask covering his face. But it's like, it ain't even no ski mask. It's like one of them weird-ass satchel, burlap sack. I cut out a mouth hole and a nose hole and 2 eye holes ass mask. Like you in Iraq. Girl, what type of stuff they doing over there? And he asked her, hello, Cora, how do you feel today? Like a doctor. So it was really weird. At first I thought, you know, maybe she just got sold into sex slavery. I mean, that was my, you know, normal thought. Well, maybe she just got sold into sex slavery. You know, she messed around with somebody that night, took a pill, you know, it ended up somewhere locked up in a room doing it with people for 2 months, you know, till she can get out, or till the girl felt sorry for her, she can get out, or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. That's what I thought. But then when I seen the dude with the scrubs on and the mask and all of that, I'm like, usually when they take people for sexual slavery, they don't be covering up their face. You know, they don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't cover up their face. I've never heard that in a story. Most of the time, they lure them in, you know, with love or whatever, and just lock them up, because it don't matter if I cover my face. Now you ain't gonna get out this room, okay? They just lock you in the room. That kind of threw off my theory a little bit, but I want to hear what your theories are. You guys let me know. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to my channel, share this video with your friends. I'm sorry it's so late. I kind of forgot about it with Greenleaf and everything that's happening during the week. I sort of forgot about this one, but I watched it this morning, and I wanted to make sure I did it before I left my house, so I would not be procrastinating, okay? So I will holler at y'all guys next week. Have a blessed one. Peace.